Hi guys, welcome back to 14s because it's a podcast by 14s for teens. So, today it is just Lauren. I'm doing one of our little YouTube shorts. So, I'm going to do a quick little 30-second explanation of what these are. So, these are just like they sound. They're only on our YouTube. You can't find them anywhere else. It's kind of a special promo thing. And we're just going to each do them in smaller groups. So, it maybe is going to be two of us or just one or whatever. But we're going to do little, just fun things. So today's is about myths and facts about redheads because I am one. It's like my only personality trait. And so I just thought it'd be fun. I think Gloria suggested this actually. And so I've been doing some little Googling, finding some, and I'm going to read through them and tell you if they are true or false. So that's that little explanation. If you're here, that means you found our YouTube successfully. Congratulations. So, with that in mind, we're going to jump right in. Okay, the first one is that red hair is a mutation. True, this is a fact. So, I kind of knew this, but I also researched it a little bit. So, it's a mutation in the MC1R gene, which is short for melanocortin 1 receptor. Maybe I said that right, maybe not. But it's on chromosome 16, very cool, where it's a mutation that causes the hair color, obviously, pale skin, freckles, and some other things that we're going to hear about later in this episode. But that is a fact. It is, in fact, a mutation, so I'm a mutant redhead. Cool. Okay, then the next one is I'm going to get a myth. Okay, that redheads are unlucky. That's a myth. Actually, we're very lucky. I think if you see a redhead, it means you've been blessed and therefore are very lucky. So I don't know where that one came from. Apparently, there's a rumor in Denmark. Is that what? Yeah. No, yeah. Denmark's got it right. They think it's an honor to have a redheaded child. I agree. But in Britain, whoever calls you first on New Year's Day, your first caller, determines your luck for the year. And redheads are even worse luck than widows. That's wow. Okay. Apparently, brunettes bring the best luck. So if you're a brunette out there, congratulations. Britain values you. Okay. The next one is that redheads have lower pain tolerance. So this one's true, sort of. So we need more anesthesia to actually feel the effects. And I have a real life story about this one actually. So I was at the dentist. This was a couple years ago. And I was getting a tooth pulled, just, like normal. My dentist is a redhead, fun fact. She's my mom's friend. And so they put the little laughing gas mask on me. They're doing great. They take it off, which I don't know if is that standard protocol to like take off the laughing gas before you pull it. I don't know. Anyway, they take it off and they pull the tooth, and I'm fully conscious. When the mask was on me, I was kind of like, oh, drowsy a little bit, but they took it off, and within a few seconds, I was awake. I was feeling everything. So I basically got the tooth pulled, feeling it, the whole thing. There was not really much painkiller happening, and I was like, ow. And so my little, I don't know, 10-year-old, 9-year-old, something self was like, that just hurt. And I think I started crying, or maybe I was just really like, ouch. And the nurse, not the nurse, what are they called? Hygienist, was like, hey, you need to just calm down and show the other kids out there that it's not scary and that it doesn't hurt. I was like, but it did. What? And then my dentist came in and she was like, oh, yeah, did you know that redheads actually have different reactions to dental procedures? I was like, no, I just know that that hurt. And so, long story short, they gave me the normal dose, and redheads require 20% more. So, that's my little anesthesia trauma. Okay, this one redheads don't go gray. As far as I know, it's true. What I've heard is that instead of going gray, your hair color gets lighter and then it gets mixed with like blonde, and then you kind of just go white. You never go gray. This will be a test of time. We will find out. Okay, the next myth or fact is that redheads are witches, which we all know now isn't true. But in medieval Europe, over 45,000 redheads were burned at the stake for being witches and being marks of the devil and things like that was their reasoning for doing that. And the only proof or evidence anybody needed to bring a redhead to the stake and burn them alive was that they had red hair, which is kind of hard to hide, which leads me into my next one, that red hair is harder to dye than any other color. True. I've never dyed my hair, so I actually can't speak to this from personal experience, but again, research. And what I found is that red hair is more resistant to any other hair dye because it has the strongest pigmentation. Even though it's not the darkest color, it still has the strongest pigmentation. So that's, you have to bleach it first, which a lot of times if you want a vibrant color, you do anyway on other hair. But for any color hair dye, even if it's black or whatever, you have to bleach it first, which I don't plan on doing because I don't want to bleach my hair. But it says that it would grow back faster, like the color would come back faster. So I don't know. I probably won't though. Okay. So the next one, this isn't really a myth or a fact, it's just how rare are they? So I guess the myth or fact here would be that redheads can only be born if there's a redhead in the family, which is not true. Since it's a recessive gene, if both parents carry the gene, they can have a redheaded child. So about 40% of the population actually carries the gene. But the reason that they're so rare, 2% of the population, in fact, I have a shirt that says, redheads only make up 2% of the population, so I'm basically a majestic unicorn, and I love it. But that aside, so 40% of the population carry the gene. What makes it so rare is that even though 40% of the people carry the gene, 2 people from that 40% have to mate, and within that, only 25% of those people, that of their children, will have the recessive gene. But if 2 gingers have a child, they have a 100% chance of having a redhead kid, which is kind of cool. Okay, the next myth is that redheads are going extinct. That's a myth. That's not true. So the numbers aren't getting any smaller. They're still proportionate to the size of the population. There's also places, I think Scotland, Ireland, Western Europe, they have up to 10% of the population is redheads instead of 2, which is a big jump. But in the United States, it's only 2, which is one of the lowest, surprisingly. And so they are not going extinct. They are just a recessive gene, so it doesn't always show up. In fact, my family, I don't know anybody. There's nobody in living memory that has red hair, as far as I'm concerned. I think my grandpa might have had a distant relative that did. I kind of forget though. We're going to move on to the next article. So that was gingerparrot.co.uk. Okay, here's one. Redheads have to be Caucasian. Myth. I didn't know this one. Actually, I kind of thought they did too because I'd never seen a non-white redhead that was naturally red hair. But after some extensive Google, which who knows if all of this is reliable? I'm trying, you guys. I feel like nobody would lie about this stuff. Anyway, apparently in all races, there is some naturally occurring red hair. Now, the population is largest, obviously, in the white Caucasian community because I think it's most prominent there, and also the parts of the world, like the mainstream media, most of the redheads you see are white. But apparently they exist in other races too, naturally occurring, so that no dye needed. Which I didn't know that. That's something I learned from this episode. Hopefully you did too. Okay, so that leads to the next one, which is that why do we see so many redheads on TV? Which I've noticed this. I'm like, what? Okay, why are half of the actresses in this movie redheads? This isn't proportionate. So apparently, 30% of commercials are gingers, which is a lot. That's 15 times as much as are actually in the population. So what I'm hearing is I should go audition for some commercials because apparently gingers are in high demand. I don't know. If you have a commercial opportunity that you want to write it in, hit me up. Here is another one. Redheads are more sensitive to the sun. Yes, twice as likely to develop skin cancer. How exciting. That's at a minimum. It might be even more. 3 times, 4 times. So I'm trying, you guys, lots of sunscreen. But that also means that our vitamin D levels are different. So because we're more sensitive to the sun, we don't absorb vitamin D as well. I don't know exactly how that works. However, because of this, redheads developed a superpower. Yes, out of this world superpower to produce our own vitamin D in higher levels. So that's kind of cool. I am my own sun. I have sun burning from the inside of me. I am producing vitamin D as we speak. How cool is that? This whole episode is probably so annoying to anybody who's not a redhead. I'm sorry, but this is really funny for me. Everybody's going to be so annoyed with me by the end of this. So if you're getting annoyed, click off because this is going to continue for a few more minutes. All right, the next one is redheads are seen as naive. False. So a lot of people, I this is from my experience. I think I'm a naive person. So maybe in my life that's where that comes from. It's just my personality. But in general, 49% of people in a survey from Clarion Color Attitude thought blondes were naive. Sorry, dumb blonde stereotype. I'm assuming that's what that's from. Where only 15% thought redheads were. So that is also that kind of ties in with the redheads have a fiery temper and aren't very level-headed, that kind of thing. So again, I think this is just a me personality trait, but I don't really get angry very often. I do, but I don't express it, so I wouldn't consider having a fiery temper. I think internally, and I think what's the opposite of a fiery, maybe passionate is the right word. Get excited about things or like bossy, definitely. But I wouldn't say I get angry a lot. But back to the kind of level-headed situation about not being good in a crisis. This one's actually a myth because redheads produce more adrenaline quicker than any other hair color. It's part of the MC1R gene. So what that means is if there's an immediate imminent danger, that our fight or flight is stimulated a lot quicker. So if there's ever a bear chasing you, hope you're not with a redhead because they're going to be out and away faster than you are. So the bear's going to get you. Don't go camping with a redhead. So this one is a quote by Mark Twain, which he said, "While the rest of the human race are descended from monkeys, redheads derived from cats." Which I guess I can't attest to. Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. But there's a really pretty picture of a redhead holding a kitten, and now I want a cat. So that one inconclusive. I'm not sure if that's a myth or a fact. Okay, so the next one is about things called gingerism and gingerphobia. So I'm going to do a quick Google search of that. Okay, gingerism is prejudice or discrimination against people with red hair, and gingerphobia is the fear of people with red hair. So I haven't really experienced either of these, luckily. I don't think I've ever experienced prejudice or discrimination. Some teasing, but that's everybody gets teased, you know. And it's not like mean intended. Okay, apparently only gingers are supposed to call another ginger ginger, but that seems dumb. I feel like it's fine. That's just kind of a description. Um wh- all right, I don't think I believe this one. Okay, according to theguardian.com, which doesn't seem that reliable. Apparently there's a blog post by Nelson Jones that says that detailed a depressing litany of murders, assaults, and suicides to anti-red-haired prejudice. Guys, it's not that big of a deal. What? Every one of those cases. Who's bullying redheads? What kind of. Huh? Okay, I don't know if I believe this one. Who has been abused, insulted, and bullied for Redhead? I'm sorry if you have. That seems what terrorist guys. Who is bullying and calling people terrorists just for having red hair? It's not that deep. Okay, this seems like a very big deal of something that I didn't think existed. Okay, inconclusive, I guess. Maybe that does exist. That's sad. Why do people. That one genuinely confuses me. The most obscure discrimination. Who. I don't even know how that works. Like, how are you going to discriminate against somebody because of that? Okay, inconclusive for that one. I'm sorry if that's happened to you. Okay, the next thing we're going on to. Hopefully it's a little happier. My goodness. Okay, redheads bruise more easily. This one is a myth. Our bruises show more, is what I think, because we have paler skin. So I think we bruise the same amount. It just shows up more. Does that make any sense? I think you guys, because not like our skin is transparent or anything, but it's lighter that bruising can show through. Okay, so that one I guess is a fact, maybe, or kind of in the middle. It's not true, but it probably looks like it is. Okay, the next one is also a myth. Bees sting redheads more often. So this one was a rumor circulating for a while. I haven't heard of most of these until I Googled it. But it is not true because bees actually have a wider color spectrum than humans, but they can't see red. So there would be no way for this to be true since they can't even tell who they're stinging if they have red hair or not. So therefore, myth. This one shouldn't need explanation. Redheads turn into vampires when we die. False. I guess I've never died that I know of, so I mean, maybe. Huh, maybe. Wait, because vampires don't like the sun and redheads aren't good in the sun. Hold on, you guys. What if I'm gonna turn into a vampire when I. You better watch out. If I didn't like you on Earth, ooh, I'm coming back as a vampire. Okay, we're gonna do, I think, two more and then sign off for this episode. I will give a piece of advice because that's just the trademark 14s. Okay, going to the Cosmopolitan. This one is very, very, very true. So, this is a fact that redheads get cold more easily. So, I use this one all the time. It is probably 10% of my personality, at least, is the fact that I'm cold. But oh my goodness, it's true. So maybe I'm just weak. I was also born in a warm state. I guess I don't live there anymore, so I can say I was born in Arizona. And so maybe this has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. I hate the cold. Right now, I live in a place that has all four seasons, and in winters, it gets cold and snowy, and I hate it. And oh my gosh, can I go back to Arizona because I don't like the snow. It's freezing, and I promise I'm not just a wimp. It actually exists. And it's a fact, redheads are approximately 2 degrees colder at all times. So wherever you are right now, if you're cold, I'm 2 degrees colder. That was so petty, but it's true. So Gloria is also very cold a lot of the time. And so we complain together about how cold it is. And everybody else is like, I'm fine. I'm my mom, I love you. I know you're listening. But oh my gosh, she keeps our house at like 42 degrees. It's so cold. Not really, but it feels like it. In the winter, oh, I have like 7 layers of clothes on. I got blankets all over the place. And she's always like, I'm actually a little stuffy. You want I'm gonna air it out a little bit, open a window. No, it's so cold. Just stop. It's so cold. So I use this all the time and I'm really annoying about it. Where 2 degrees colder, you guys, 2 degrees colder. Okay, and then we're gonna come to the last one. And if you've ever listened to an episode of 14s, you've probably heard me rant about this again. This whole episode was just me getting to be annoying. Sorry for your ears, but I'm enjoying this. So the next one, redheads have no soul. Now there's debate about this one, but the rest of the podcast isn't here to disagree with me right now. So I can talk about it and nobody can interrupt and nobody can care. Redheads do not have a soul. In fact, we have the contents of a soul without the soul shaped container. Say that 10 times fast. So I still have every bit of morality or intention or I don't know, empathy. What else is in your soul? I'm not really sure. Spirituality. Still got all that, but it's not kept in a soul. Okay? Because it's just part of the thing. MC1R, I'm telling you, this it controls my whole life. It's what makes me different. Okay, so I will leave you with those redheaded facts and myths to go about your day with. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to give one little piece of advice. Okay, my advice today, I feel like it should have something to do with red hair. Oh, I've got it. If you have something that makes you different, that makes you quirky, celebrate it. And if people get annoyed, let them be annoyed. If you're having fun with it, like this episode, but don't be fake quirky. That's just when you try and make, you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So that is the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed. Please check out the rest of our YouTube shorts and refer to the links in the description to go look on. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where you are right now, YouTube, all of those places. We will see you in our next episode. Goodbye, everybody.